Hello there, my name's Annette with Sunbeam Fabric Art. Welcome to my channel. So far I've made 3 quilts out of a $6 quilt kit from 2002 that I got at a garage sale. After making 3 quilts, here is a look at what I have left, plus a couple of blues that I robbed from my stash. For today's project, I did want to use up as many of the strips as I had as possible. So I thought about perhaps making strip tubes. The problem with these strips, they're all different widths, and they're not quite long enough to make good strip tubes. So I'm thinking now that my strip tube might have to bring in a background color that will match the width of whatever I end up with for these strips that I have here. You can see some of them are about 1 inch wide, some of them are 2.5 inches wide, and some I cut down from that extra blue scrap fabric. Now I did take the time to sort them out a little bit by size, so I'm starting here with the longest strips, and I'm trying to match a lighter shade. For example, this beige that you see here, I'm trying to match that with a darker or medium shade. There are also lots of blue tones and then lots of pinkish reddish tones. So I want to alternate those as well because I'm going to keep adding and adding to these strips until I get a long strip section. I definitely took advantage of my chain piecing technique, which means just stitching, 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 and not stopping till all the fabric is gone. Now, after taking a look at these first round results, I thought I would cut down those longer pieces to a more reasonable length, make them a little more uniform. I'm glad I took the time to get these sizes uniform because then when it came time to sit down at the sewing machine, it made it a lot easier. One thing I did not do was press between rounds. If you want to, you can, but I'm going to wait till the end to press it all. So here you see I've got a strip of 2 and another strip of 2, putting those right sides together. And like I said, I'm trying to keep an eye on what colors I'm using, kind of mix up the reds and the blues. I decided with the longer strips to go ahead and stitch all those together before chain piecing those shorter strips. With these shorter strips, I'm doing the same thing, just putting 2 strips together. I'm going to be careful and try and mix up those reds and those blues and the lights and the darks. You might notice that some of these strips are different lengths, and what I'm doing to account for that is try and keep all the overhanging edges going one direction so that when I go to trim this strip, I will only be wasting fabric on one side, not both sides. These kind of chain piecing projects have one thing in common, whether it's scraps or strips or whatever, each round you do of this chain piecing is going to take half as much time as the previous round, which is great. The first round always takes a long time, but once you get moving and get a couple of rounds in, it goes pretty quickly. One thing I like to do when sections get long enough, whether it's strips or scraps or quilt rows, once you get a section that's long enough and you stitch your 2 pieces together, you can flip around the tail end of the previous piece and add your next piece. When you get to this stage, this will automatically be the last round because all you have to do is clip the threads and you will have your long row or your long piece of fabric, whatever you're trying to make. Well, the next thing to do is to press all these long sets of strips nice and flat, and then I'll be able to move on from there and see what I have. For these type of scrap projects, I like to press with the right side down. It makes it easier for me to just figure out where things need to be pulled or manipulated so that I can get a nice flat fabric. Next, I had to think about what color background fabric I wanted to use. I had a white, a black, and a kind of an eggshell color that I was looking at. I looked at this gray from my stash. That's terrible. That was a bad choice. I was not going to use that. I looked at some other fabrics in my stash that I thought I had enough, but I ended up going with the eggshell. Before I cut into that eggshell, I am going to first trim the width of these scrappy strips to a uniform size. I tried to get all the overhanging edges on one side of this strip set, but it didn't always work. I missed a few. So what I'm doing is getting myself a nice straight edge here on this right side. Next, I turn this strip set around, and the first thing I did was go ahead and cut off 6-inch width. That's how wide my ruler is, and it seemed like it was going to work the entire length of this strip. When I got to the end of the strip, I wrapped it all around my 24-inch by 6-inch ruler. Just that was an easy way for me to measure it, was just by wrapping it around and around and around. And that way I would know how much of that eggshell fabric to use. Now you see that big pile off on the right there. That is not getting wasted. I thought that the quilt I'm working on right now was going to be the last one from this quilt kit, but it turned out I had enough left to make one more quilt. So stay tuned for that video. Next, I cut enough 6-inch strips from this eggshell that would match that 6-inch scrappy strip. I attached all of the eggshell 6-inch wide strips together to make one long strip. Once I had that all stitched, I pressed all of those diagonal seams nice and flat. And now that I have seams on the white strip, there is a right and a wrong side. So I need to make sure these strips get placed right sides together. I'm going to stitch all the way down this long strip on one side with a 1/4-inch seam. Then I am going to go around to the other side and do the same thing, and that will create my tube. Now I had some left of the eggshell fabric, and I cut that into smaller strips, and I attached those smaller eggshell strips to some of those cutoffs of the fabric scrap strips with a straight edge. I trimmed off all the overhanging edges from that scrap fabric and set that aside to use in another project. Here is a look at that strip tube. So I'm going to show you a couple of ways that I cut strip tubes. My favorite ruler is this 12.5-inch square Omni Grip ruler, and it has that diagonal line running through it. I place that diagonal line right on the stitch line and cut on the edge of the ruler, cut that fabric off, leaving that little triangle. Now I'm going to reposition that ruler so the diagonal line of the ruler is on that top stitch line. I'm going to get it right to the edge where the cut I make butts up right against the cut I just made. Now we have this nice square strip tube block that we can use, and it looks like a half square triangle. We'll come back to that later. Now I also have a strip tube ruler that's designed just for this type of project. So I'm choosing the line on the ruler to line up on my stitch line and make those cuts, and then I just have to turn this triangle ruler upside down to make the next cut and just go on down the strip. Just from this long strip, I ended up with 49 blocks exactly. So obviously I was going to make a 7 by 7 block layout, use up all 49 of those blocks. Now, like I said, half square triangles, let's get back to that. I put all the half square triangles, all 49, into my computer in Electric Quilt 8, otherwise known as EQ8, and I started just playing around, rotating blocks, and you can do the same thing by just laying your blocks out on the floor and playing around. You can also do it with paper half square triangles. Just have some fun playing around. Post-it notes make nice fake half square triangles. Anyway, I just started to flip them around, and I wanted to show you some of the different ways. You can probably look online for half square triangle quilts. There are so many possibilities. I didn't want to do anything too awfully complicated, so here is the layout I chose, just lines going through the quilt. You can see that every pair is put together exactly the same way, but since I have 7 blocks per row, I have an extra block at the end of one row and an extra block at the beginning of a different row. So I'm going to go ahead and put pairs together, except I'm going to keep out 7 extra blocks to attach to the beginning and the end of the rows. It was a little bit tricky to stitch these blocks because of all the seams. Some were going the way I preferred, some were going the opposite way, but I did my best to just be careful and make sure those seams were laying flat before I got them to the needle. Another thing to take into account is these edges of the blocks are diagonal from the grain of fabric. The grain of fabric is horizontal and vertical. These cuts are cutting right across that, which makes those edges stretchy. So I'm being very careful not to pull or tug on this fabric as it goes through the machine. Once I had all the pairs initially stitched together, I separated that chain, then I went back and put 2 pairs together and then added that 3rd pair to make my 7 rows, and I still had 7 blocks left over. I added those extra 7 blocks to the end or the beginning of the rows. With all my rows put together, I laid them out on my tabletop and I clipped them together 2 at a time, kind of looking at my diagram, which is off screen, way across the room on my left, but I kept walking over to the computer to take a look at that plan that I had drawn there on the computer. Once I had a couple of rows put together the correct way, got the clips on those, I made sure and clipped all the seams, nesting those seams between the blocks. I also added a few extra clips in to keep everything together. Once all the rows were clipped, I went ahead and took those to the sewing machine and stitched the rows together. Then I kept adding more and more groups together to get my final 7 rows joined up. Now here is where it gets really fun for me. Remember those strips that I stitched on a 2.5-inch wide strip of the eggshell fabric? I'm just taking those little strips and making a border for my quilt. I'm keeping the colored fabric to the inside and the eggshell fabric to the outside. Once I got all the way around the quilt, then I got my iron out and pressed this border and the joinings of my quilt blocks nice and flat. The last thing I did was trim those 4 corners. Here is a look at the finished quilt, and it's so fun to see these scrap strips, the leftovers from that quilt kit, done in this way, and I especially love that border. I love that that little skinny strip of scraps really added a cute detail to this quilt. Thanks for sticking with me to the end of this video. It was a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope to see you back again real soon.